Good morning.
All right, I think most all of us are here. Thank you guys and welcome. We're going to jump in for sake of time. Thanks for being here. And I so wish we could have been in person, and I think that we made the right decision there just based on everything that we're hearing in the last few days here. And we're going to just run with it and keep everyone safe and healthy as much as we can, and also want to support you knowing that most all of you are programming still, so we honor that, and definitely want to help keep the community safe as well. So we're going to jump right in. So thanks for being here, and Diana McAllister is going to do a nice introduction here to our morning.
Have this slide?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I think it's your setting, since you're set as host, that you can.
Yeah, you'll need to make us all hosts.
I just changed you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're sharing slides, y'all, so we'll put up one thing. 1 second. There we go.
All right. Everybody see that?
Yes. You know. Yay, so welcome. I just want to do some housekeeping real quick with everyone. Just a couple of things we want to remember during this presentation. First of all, you probably heard the little sound that says this meeting is being recorded. It's a private recording for just our group, but if you are not comfortable with having your face on screen or having your voice heard, now is the time to mute those things because we are recording. But again, just for us, it's not going out public. We will make the recording and the slide deck available to you guys after we are done. So don't worry, those things will come to you. I can't guarantee that it will come to you to like today, but it will get out to you probably by next week. You are always welcome to change your audio settings. If you look at the little microphone at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to call in if you are having trouble with your audio. We are using Zoom today. It has never happened before. I like to believe that's because I put this warning in, right? But if anything happens and this meeting gets hacked in any way, we will do our best to shut it down. In worst case scenario, we would reschedule this call. But like I said, fingers crossed, has never happened. You're welcome to unmute your mic. I know for myself and Danny and Anna, we are happy to take questions at any time, but if you're more comfortable with doing so, you can use your chat box. Not a problem. All three of us are monitoring the chat. I would like to do a quick poll just to make sure everyone's chat is working. I just want to know quickly, how many school-age children does your program serve? And you can drop that in chat. A, 25 or less, B, 26 to 50, C, 51 to 100, D, more than 100. Oh, we're all flooding in. D, 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 B, B, C, D, a couple C's, 25 or less. So you guys all have programs of completely different sizes. C altogether, that's fair. That's fair, Jane. A lot of people have daily numbers, yearly numbers, session date numbers that'll be changed, that'll change, right? That's pretty normal. So first, before we get into what ION is, I just want to introduce you to the staff in case you guys do not know any of us. Some of you, this might be your first time working with ION, and that's great, welcome. And some of you guys have been with us for years and years, and that is also great. So Anna is here today. She is our director. She's on the left of me in the photo. I'm obviously in the middle of the photo. I'm Diana, and I am the Quality and Professional Development Coordinator for ION. To my right in that photo is Emily, and she is an ION consultant. Unfortunately, she moved, and she's currently a contractor with us, but you'll see her around every now and then. Below my picture is Danny, and Danny is on the call with us today as well. Hi, Danny. Danny is our brand new operations and outreach coordinator. We're so happy to have her. And then below Danny, the bottom picture, that is Wendy. And Wendy is our STEM education and communications coordinator. She is also new to ION. She is not on this call today, but you will probably see her pop up somewhere in the future, and that's great. And every now and then we have interns and other people that pop in and out, but this is our current and main staff. So what is ION? You may have heard the acronym ION, and that is the Idaho Out-of-School Network, if you say our whole name out loud. And our current mission is to ensure that Idaho's youth have access to high quality out of school time, or OST. You'll see that acronym a lot as well, OST programs. We launched in 2014, so it has been a while. We have been out here doing programming for a while now. So if this is your first time with us, welcome. We're happy to always have new programs joining us. And if you've been with us since 2014, awesome. ION is the only program of its type in Idaho. However, all 50 states have similar programming. So you might hear them as after school instead of outer school, but they're all similar. And we all run under, excuse me, I should have said, I am getting over an illness and I may cough and have to mute every now and then, but I'm going to do my best to work through it. I'm just going to move on before I cough. This is key. ION does not directly offer out of school time programming. We do not work with children directly. That can be confusing for people. You hear out of school network and you think we're running out of school programming, but we're not. We are here to support you guys instead. So what does ION do? We increase awareness about and access to out of school time programming. That's one of our main goals, right? We want people to know that there's programming in Idaho, that there's programming available in Idaho. We want kids in programming. We want to make sure that you guys have access to programming. And so that's one of our first goals. That's the I in ION. On ION. We organize policy and partnerships for out of school time programming. So we're the ones who will meet with legislators. We will meet with local governments. We will meet with policymakers. We have partnerships all over the state in all kinds of different industries. And that's one of our jobs, is to link and make sure that everyone understands the importance of out of school time programming. The N in ION is to nurture quality and professional development for OST programs, right? That's my main job. I want to make sure that you guys have access to information about quality, what quality programming means, what quality programming looks like. And then I want to provide you and your staff with professional development opportunities as much as possible. We're one of the few organizations that make professional development opportunities specific to workers in out of school time programming. Not early education, not school day education, OST programming specifically. Here's those partners, right? Educators, policymakers, community advocates, state agencies, youth organizations, you name it. Anna and I have probably had a meeting with them at some point. We can always meet more. If you have someone that you're like, you need to meet these people, let us know. We're going to do one more quick poll. Before applying for the grant that you are currently here for, Had you ever heard of ION or used one of ION's resources? A for yes, B for no. Yes, no. Oh, a no in there. Another no. Yes, yes. All right, welcome to all of you guys who had not worked with us before. I'm so happy you guys are here. We are here for you. And again, welcome to everyone who's been with us before. All right, I'm going to turn my time. You will see me again. We'll do a whole training in a little bit on quality, but I'm going to turn my time back over to Anna and Danny for a little bit.
All right, thank you, Diana. I'm just going to describe a little bit how we got here and how this opportunity came about very briefly. So the funds for the Idaho Community Programs for Youth Awards did come through the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare and were dollars allocated to the department from the American Rescue Plan Act. This might be, you know, you already know this. I just wanted to reiterate that we're very excited that those dollars came through and have been dedicated to 5 to 13-year-olds through this grant opportunity. And a little bit about the purpose and intent language that we are going on in order to provide these dollars. We are tasked with expanding the number of Idaho children participating in high quality summer and school year programs to improve education learning loss due to COVID-19 pandemic, educational activities that support student learning and behavioral health supports for children. So you're all aware of that. It was in your language within your application. And I just am sort of reiterating that as we move through the day and kind of go into the next part of how ION wants to further support that mission we have through this grant award. Award reporting requirements will be more extensively reviewed with Danny, but our first report will be in January, and that will be coming to you guys probably late December. And then we also will be working with an evaluator at a university. Right now we have a request out to determine who that will be, but they also will be in contact with us throughout the grant period and with you guys. The Idaho Building Blocks for School Time Quality. We have developed these standards in partnership with many stakeholders across the community, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. I think if someone can mute who just joined, I'll do. Okay, got it. But developed the building blocks for out of school time quality. So we will be working through those throughout our professional development and training, and please feel free to reach out to us at any time. You may have received them in the mail. We sent them out on Tuesday, a hard copy, but as Diana will show you, we have that available online to work through. All of the same forms are online and more in fillable format. So anytime you have questions around that, Diana is the staff here at ION who can help walk through that. Next. So as we talk about the intent and how it's further clarified in the request for proposals that went out, we talk a lot about social emotional learning and unfinished learning and evidence-based programming. I can guarantee that the programs who are part of this cohort and this first award group, we saw tons of evidence-based programming. And though we haven't maybe called it that in the past, you know, now this is written into the intent of this grant, and we want to help lift that up. If there's ever a question about programming that you're doing and you want to kind of further just talk with someone about that, is this evidence-based? How can I identify that in my narrative? We're here to help and lift that up. There are several resources on our website that point to social emotional learning and activities, strategies for working with students and helping them work through some of the impact of COVID-19. We have tons of resources on the website, and I encourage you, Danny just put the link into the chat here. I encourage you to utilize our website. Let us know if you see things that you think we should add too. This is definitely, you know, a time where we're continuously building that. This kidshelprecover.org has been a really fascinating site. Been kind of going through those resources, and it all ties to what the federal government is considering evidence-based programming as they're rolling out other ARPA dollar funded programs and ESSER and ESSER 3 funded programs through the State Department of Education. So that link is really helpful as well. As we're working with the university on sort of the evaluation of our work through these awards, we really want to show how out of school time programming specifically is a resource to our communities and our schools, and that we are really creating an impact on our youth through what we're doing. We know that, and we often do a fine job of telling that story in our local communities. I think what we're finding with this money coming through from the federal government to the state and then down to community-based organizations is it's really our time to shine and to really show that impact. So the network also wants to help lift that up and tell our stories. So through contracting with the university to do some further impact measurement of these dollars, we hope to really show our lawmakers, our policymakers, our communities, the why behind this investment. We don't want this to be just in this time, but really to use this time to show this is what we do and this is how we do it, and this is how our communities are impacted by the work that we're doing. So we're hoping to fold that into our part of this grant as well, is to really do our best to tell your stories and to measure what we're doing. So that's part of our role in this distribution of ARPA dollars as well, is to measure our impact.
And now it's my turn.
Right.
I don't have as many details as I would like to this time, because as Anna indicated, we are waiting for our university contract to determine the extent and the requirements of our evaluations. However, we do know that we'll be doing several check-in points to find out how you guys are doing, to offer resources, to find out how you guys are meeting your goals, whether you need support in certain areas because you're struggling, or if you're just doing great. We want to hear that too. So some of the methods that we will use for those evaluations are program check-ins with ION staff. So we can always set up Zoom meetings if you let us know that that's what you need. If you need more information about our building blocks or more resources that way, we'll do individual check-ins. On a case-by-case basis, but also scheduled ones for this winter. The university will be tasked with developing focus groups and coordinating those with your sites. The intent is also to utilize family surveys with your programs attendance and participants, and that's going to look a little bit different for all of you, but that's one way we can get really valuable input from what parents and families are seeing, the effects on their kids and being able to participate. And then, as we mentioned before, the project progress reports. As of now, there will be the one through ION specifically that we know about with the date. Whoops. Sorry. With us, and I'll show you. I think I took a screenshot of the form that we begun for that. So here are the important dates you need to know in regards to requirements and reporting, etc. So the first one will be a assessment of the building block first. Okay. There, oh, there's the form. Anna, just let me know that my audio is cutting out. Could you indicate in chat if that is happening to you as well? Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it up. All right, I'm going to test. Can you hear me any better now? Yes, okay. I just needed to increase my volume. Good. My apologies. Does anyone want me to go back to the prior slide to discuss in further detail if they didn't catch it? Give me a thumbs up if you want me to go back. All right, we're set. Okay, so Diana will cover what the building blocks assessments are, but after today's overview, October 1st will be when we'll ask you to turn in your first self-assessment, and we'll have you email that directly to Diana. October 5th is when we will have a more in-depth Behavior Institute and Building Blocks School program training, which will be virtual between 9 and 12 p.m. Required for all participants who can make it. Please, let us know if there's any issue. That one, of course, will be recorded as well. The December check-ins that I mentioned for the individual meetings, these are intended for you as directors to have taken the information that you learned through these trainings back to your teams, to communicate with them, to work with them on your assessments, and then meet with us to find out how it's going, to find out what you guys are able to implement, what your stages are, what your roadblocks are, etc. And we'd like you to sign up for those now. So let me pop. It's a sign up, genius. I'm going to pop it into the chat so that you can have the link and sign up for your virtual time check-in on one of those dates. Oops. And then finally, January 2nd is when the first progress report will be due. And I just wanted to note that this is also for programs whose timeline goes through May, July. There are, I believe there's at least one of you that ends in December, if not two, the details disappearing in my mind. But most of you were May, July, and so your January 2nd will be the first progress report due. All right, and now I will show you a brief, let's see, a brief draft of what that winter progress report will be. It's not going to be extensive. We're not going to be asking an in-depth conversation you'll need to have with your fiscal departments or anything, not any hard data that will come later. But we will be asking, what amount of your award have you spent? What goals, if you've met any, especially in regards to social emotional resources or how you've addressed learning loss. Please return to your applications and your submissions that way to reference what it is that you wanted to accomplish with these funds, and let us know in a narrative form how you're doing on that. Have you increased staff? If that was one of your goals, we know that there are a lot of factors that go into that, and so we want to know if that was one of your opportunities to increase access by expanding your program. Have you been able to do that? And then have you increased program attendance? And we'll ask that you compare it to the months of the prior year. So in 2020, in January, what were your numbers then? If they've stayed the same, that's okay too. But we are looking, we're hoping to see more youth being able to participate than in years past. So let's talk about eligibility a little bit for the rounds, because this was the first round. And Anna will let you know a little bit more about that. I'm going to mute myself.
So we have a second round coming in December that would be funded, November, that would be funded January 1st. And we would love to invite awardees who indicated that their project timeline ended in December to apply for round 2. We also have round 3, which will be the Summer of Innovation grant. And that will be open in likely end of April. And for those grants as well, some indicated that their timeline ended in May. Most of you did. So you would be eligible for that Summer of Innovation grant. I think there were a few who had indicated the full year, and if you need an exemption from that, or do see your funding ending at the end of May and have an additional project in the summer that you would want considered for that application, please reach out to us and we can kind of do that case by case. These dollars came in an unusual way from Department of Health and Welfare in 4 installments of payments. And so that's why we have had to break this into rounds. And we're learning along the way. So the next application will be a little different. We think we've got some improvements that we've made to it. You can definitely give us feedback, but it will look a little different, but for the most part, similar. And we have a review team that will be meeting and determining that from a rubric. And our rubric also will be updated for our new application. I think Danny is going to talk about an event that we have coming up in October.
There's a question in the chat, Anna.
Okay.
It says, will you address what happens if we have funds to carry over into another round?
You are welcome. Are you saying if you said that you wanted to be done in December, but there would be funds carrying over?
Yes, staffing shortage is affecting me, so I'm worried that we won't use everything. So I don't want to jump the gun. If you're going to address budget, I'm sure you will, but just want to make sure that's covered. Thank you.
And Shannon, remind me, was yours ending in May, and so you'd have some into summer?
Yes, mine ends in May.
We would allow that to be used in summer if you were interested in continuing throughout the summer. And could
Perfect.
Expend it. Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Were there any other questions in regards to budgeting? I'll pause. Okay.
Well, just to follow up on that last question, then if you did carry over beyond what you initially anticipated, in that case, not finishing in May, you carry over through the summer, would you still be eligible to apply for round 3, or not until you've already spent all of your funds from round 1?
Until you've spent the funds from round 1, yes. That would have to be a final expenditure of all of that would need to be shown.
All right. So one of the things that we have coming up that ION is highlighting is the Lights On After School. It's through the After School Alliance, and it's a nationwide event and an opportunity for our programs to highlight themselves and to bring attention to all the wonderful things that you are doing. And there are 2 major ways that you guys can participate. One, highly encouraged you do. The first is to nominate a champion. If there is someone in your community, in your program, you want to nominate yourself. I don't know, do we allow that, Anna? I think that's probably rare, if ever. But nominate a champion from your community and let us know how they have impacted your community in a positive way. I'm going to pop the nomination form into the chat for you. So that you can go to it right away. The deadline for that is the 30th for submission. And then our team will review it, we'll select them and celebrate them on the 28th. And Anna, do you want to know here some of the perks of being a champion? You haven't seen any links. Okay, that's important feedback.
I've seen links in there. Maybe they're going to the wrong. I can work on that. Danny, did you want me to talk about perks of champions?
Yes, please, while I adjust the links
Okay.
situation.
So we are going to offer the $300 award to your program of choice for the champions. So those selected as champions will get to donate $300 to the after school program of their choice. Also, you're invited to the Power Up Summit and have a free registration overnight and travel to the Power Up Summit in September. Those are kind of the main perks. Also honored at a Lights On After School event in your regional area, and we often invite regional municipal leaders. We can kind of work with you on that celebration for the champion if you've nominated someone. It's a fun way to just thank folks and have them be recognized in the community. I think we can go to the next slide, Danny. And
just making sure I have given the links that it said.
okay.
Yes, so let me pop in the link for nomination. So there's the form for nominating. And then here is the link for registering your event. And this is a great opportunity for media coverage as well, just to bring attention and highlight the fact that you guys are award winners. All right, so that's through the After School Alliance. And then the next section we have that we want to bring to your attention is Diana's.
For the meeting series. If you guys came to the summit online, we had a wonderful keynote speaker by Sheldon Eakins, who is the director, creator of the Leading Equity Center out of Pocatello, Idaho. And he has agreed to do a 9-part webinar series, excuse me, sorry about that, guys. I'm going to stop my video for a second. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Now we can, yes.
Yeah, I can. Okay. Sorry, sometimes my computer does that. It'll just turn off in the middle of a Zoom, will kick me out and bring me right back in. Anyway, we have a 9-part webinar series. It starts next week. And then there's one a month through May. They will always be on a Thursday at 10 a.m. If you sign up now for the entire series, it will be $75. So you'll get 9 training hours, 9 trainings for $75. If you want to look through them and sign up individually, you can. Individual ones will be $10. For those of you that need Idaho Stars training hours, they are Idaho Stars approved. And so you can click the registration link that Danny just put in the chat, and you can see all the different events and all the different dates. But it will be wonderful. I'm so excited to bring this series to the state, and think this will open up a lot of conversations for a lot of people.
All right, I think that brings us to the end of our announcements. Do we have any questions or anything people want to check in on about what we've covered so far? All right. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, and now it's star of the show, Diana.
The show. Oh my. Okay. Oh, Andrew, they're each an hour. Thank you for that question. So yeah, it's a 9 hours total. So each session is 1 hour. And then there's 9 of them, all covering different topics. So best deal is to sign up for all 9. But if you're like, there's some topics you don't want to attend, you can click them and attend individually. But they're each an hour. They're all always from 10 to 11. They're always a Thursday. We know most of you guys have programming in the morning and then in the afternoon. And so we try to schedule programming when you might have an hour of time to go actually take training. So that has worked well for us over the last few years, is that 10 to 11 Thursdays. Yeah. I'm going to try to share my screen, see what happens. Everyone see on building blocks. Are you seeing my screen? Anyone? No, you're not. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Says I'm screen sharing. We'll try again. How about now? Are you seeing it now? Do I have permission to share?
I'm gonna try one more time. I just made you a co-host.
Okay.
Try one more time.
Excuse me, guys. That will be a constant problem. So I'm sorry. I don't try to cough, but here we are. I'll try that. I'm gonna try that. Now. So
There it is. Here it is, Diana. Yay.
Okay. I was like, Jane, Danny and I will try to figure out what's going on in Sign Up Genius for you. And we'll figure out whether you are actually signed up for 2 times or someone already at that time. Maybe Danny can look quickly. All right. Some of you may have seen this training way back in January of 2020. Does that not feel like a literal lifetime ago at this point? We had not shut down. COVID had not happened. If you saw this training then, this is a great refresher for you. If you have not seen this training, welcome to the world of the Idaho building blocks for out of school time quality. Yes, I will try. Thank you. I'm not trying to. So today we're going to quickly talk about the background of the building blocks, why we created them. I'm going to show you an introduction to them. We're going to talk about self-assessment tools and some resources that are available to you, how and why you want to implement these. I will have time for questions as well, hopefully. So quickly in the chat, if you can tell me if your program currently uses some form of quality standards or quality tool to assess the program. A for yes, B for no, or you can say yes or no. Anyone? I'm not receiving anything in chat. Did anyone type into chat? You guys?
People are chatting, saying yes.
Turn my video off. We're gonna try this again. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. I got one no, which is totally fair, Sarah. Well, I know some of your guys' programs, and I know some of you guys do use programs. Hoping to hear from a few more people on whether or not they use a quality standard or tool, but that's okay. We will continue on, guys. Maybe, there we go. So I'm going to tell you some history and background on how we got to out of school time quality in Idaho, right? Creating standards for the state was in our original grant proposal way back when we started in 2014. But we knew that it would take some time, right? Quality standards are not an easy thing to write. So we established a quality and professional development work group. We have a lot of providers and professionals that were interested in this. And so we partnered with Idaho Stars, 21st Century, the YMCA, Boise Parks and Rec, to be on this work group to help guide us in creating these standards. In 2018, the first quality and professional development coordinator, me, was hired by ION. And one of my first goals out of the block was to develop out of school time quality standards. Not the easiest task, guys. I love Anna trusted me to be like, you can. Most of that money came from Department of Health and Welfare, but we have other funding streams as well that helped with those creations. And in May of 2019, again, this feels like such a lifetime ago at this point. We held state roundtables. We went all around the state to, I believe, 6 different locations. We wanted to hear directly from providers on what they felt and how they perceived the quality standards. And then in September of 2019, we were finally able to introduce the very first Idaho building blocks for out of school time quality. So proud, so happy that we were able to get something released. And this was not an easy task, you guys. I cannot express this enough.
Anna, your slides disappeared. Just noting.
I'm sorry. That's the worst, you guys. I don't know why it keeps thinking that I don't have enough internet bandwidth. We're gonna make it through this. It's gonna happen. So anyway, those roundtables I was discussing. This is what I heard over and over and over again. It has to be available for everyone, and we mean everyone. I was looking through the programs that you guys have in just this little group, right? You all serve completely different students. You have completely different programming. You do completely different things, right? And we were told that we had to be available to Horse Club as much as permanent, in school program. So everyone. It had to be foundational, right? We're not a place in school time in our state that we can make really strict, really huge quality standards, right? That wasn't going to happen, and that's okay. We didn't want to do that anyway. Had to be written at a level that staff and volunteers could use as well. You guys as directors have so much on your plate already that we wanted a system that you could hand off staff or volunteers, and it would just be that as it would be to you. You guys already have enough to do. Had to be based in national research, and that seems like something that would be obvious. However, it's not. So we wanted to make sure that you guys, when you're reading this and when we were helping you through this, we wanted you to be able to trust that this was and on national standards. It's easy to read, easy to use. Both things. It can't be one or the other. It has to be both. It has to be something that you can easily look through and easily grab onto and be functional in its use. It has to be free. You guys don't have the budgets, and we know that, to purchase some huge curriculum or some huge standards, right? National credit of dollars. We didn't want that for you guys. We wanted something that you'd use with us. Voluntary. In a place that's going to make this man, so it has something that you guys would use on your own. Now, and we are making Anna, I don't know what to do at this point. It's just going to keep kicking me off and on.
Do you want to send me your slides and I'll present and you can?
I think that will help. I don't think it's my slides that are kicking me off. But we'll get through it. It only lasts a second, apparently. And I even checked my internet connection before we started this program, but here we are. The last thing was that it couldn't be something that you guys could just Google yourself, because that's, we wanted something that met all of these criteria. I mean, if you Googled it now, it would come up with ours, but at the time, it had to be something new and improved. So I'm going to ask you guys quickly, why do you think quality is important? Anyone want to share? My chat box is, there we go. Why is quality important for your program or for you? Wait, I'm awkward. Someone has an idea of why quality is important.
Can you see the chat, Diana, or do you want me to read the answers?
Yeah, I don't have, I see my chat, but nothing's coming up to me. So if you have answers that are popped up, go ahead and read them, Anna.
Okay, Tony says it helps us measure our impact and share it with others. Jess says we want to have the greatest impact possible. Amber says it provides the best experience for the youth.
Yes. Oh, now they're popping up. I don't know what took so long, but here they are. Right, we know research shows over and over and over again, right, that positive outcomes for youth are more likely when youth are engaged in a high quality after school program because of all the reasons that you guys are providing the best experience for your youth. But what does that mean? We don't know. So for us, when we developed quality standards, the goals that we had were defining what quality out of school term programming looks like. I think this was probably the point that we got stuck on like immediately, because everyone has a slightly different idea of what quality means. We want quality to serve as a foundation for the decisions and practices in all settings and all programs. And like we said, we're just going to do this. That had to be sports, that had to be horse club, that had to be art club, that had to be marching band, right? This was really important to me. We had to set standards that supported you guys as professionals. You are the experts in your field. You are professionals in your field. You're not babysitters, right? You're professionals, and we want to make sure that we're supporting with you. We want to provide an ongoing framework to advance the field and increase the quality of programs being offered, right? We don't want to be the same all the time. So what that looks like when we're looking at the building blocks, right? We created 8 building blocks, and those are your principles, if you will. That's the title, if you will, of your program. Then under that is the standard that defines the intent of the building block. Then we have the indicators, and those are the actions that programs can take to meet the standard underneath the building block. So there's 8 of them. Intentional program design is the first. Supportive relationships and environments is the second. Third, we have youth voice, leadership, and engagement. Fourth, we have responsiveness to culture and identity. 5 is community, school, and family engagement. 6 is organizational and leadership management. 7 is youth safety and wellness. And 8 is ongoing staff support and volunteer development. All of these have indicators within them that meet each other. Right. So as I told you earlier, we sent you one of these, and hopefully you'll get it maybe today, okay, next week. But you'll all get a guide. I'm going to try to do this real quick. It looks like this. And I spent a ton of work in it and making sure that you can write on all pages. It's easy format to use. But, all right, now I'm going to turn this off again. But you can also do it online. You can find it on our website. If you go to the top head, there's one for quality, and under that is one for building blocks. You can download this for free and as many times as you want. So if you want every person on your staff to have one, you can do that. If you want your parent groups to have one, you can do that. If you want your supporters to have one, you can do that. Everyone and anyone can have one. If you want more physical copies, you can let me, Annie, or Anna know.
I'm going to jump in because it looks like we're having some audio problems with Diana. Sorry about this, you guys. It's like,
I don't know what is going on with the internet. I don't know why it keeps turning off on you. I mean, it just pops off and then pops on and then pops off and then pops on. You probably don't have all my updated slides, but that's okay. We will work through this. So part 1 of the guide is the building block standards and definitions, right? So the building block is going to be intentional program design. The standard is the definition underneath the building block. So part 2 of the guide is the indicators and the self-assessment tool, right? And remember that the indicators are the actions a program can take to meet your standards. So on the left, right, you have number 1, intentional program design. That's your building block. Then underneath that are all the indicators, A through I, for this particular block. Those are all the steps that you take to meet your standard. And then on the right side is your self-assessment. And that's going to give you all the quick and easy, again, anyone can do this. You can hand it off to staff, you can hand it off to parent advisory councils, and you go back. And on that self-assessment is a very easy, I'm doing it, right? So if this is something, if that indicator is something you're doing, great. You check doing it. If it's something that you're starting or you're working on, you can check trying it. If it's something that you haven't done yet, it's a check, not it. Not yet, not it. And then right under that is the evidence. How do you know that you're doing it? Or how do you know you're trying it? Right? It's in my program guide, it's on my wall, it's whatever your evidence to you, that's what you put in the evidence section. And then there's a couple of basic reflective questions on every self-assessment. There's a larger reflective practice at the end of the guide, but in the quick self-assessments, there's just a couple of little spots that it's like, hey, what are you doing? What do you want to do next? Just so that you can kind of keep track. So when you get to the end at the big self-reflective section, you'll have already kind of thought about some of these questions. Okay, you can go to the next. Next. Yeah, see, I didn't think that it was my slides. I think it's just my internet. And it'll be a second because I can't see the screen. It takes a second for it to come back to me.
So the reflections page is up right now, Diana, the part 3.
Okay, one sec. Oh, I can't see anything now. Hello. No, this is frustrating, you guys. Give me one second. Good news is if you want to watch this presentation without me jumping on and off, it is previously recorded, and you'll get a recording of this as well, but I don't know if that'll be helpful to you. So part 3 of the guide is the larger reflection section, where it's really some guiding questions on how you want to proceed now that you've gone through all the self-assessments. And now you have a really good base of what you want to work on, right? Because you're going to pretty easily see where your just one of those days, guys. Don't know what's going on. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have gone through the self-assessments. You're going to have picked out what you are not doing and in what areas you want to work on, and then you'll be able to use these reflections to really look at those things for yourself. Yes, thank you, Anna. Oh, on my slides, this is this beautiful thing where I show you all the steps, but it's okay. So the last part of the guide. So now you've done your self-assessments, you've picked some areas that you need to work on, you've reflected on those, then you're going to do the continuous quality improvement process. And this first step of that is to plan, right? You identify opportunities, you plan for change. There's some more information in the guide on each of these steps. Step 2 is do, right? You implement the changes on a small scale because you don't want to make huge sweeping changes, right? That's really hard to track. It's really hard to do. So you're going to pick some small indicators that you can work on, and then you do them, right? And then step 3, you got to look and track the results of those changes. Did they work? Did you do what you thought you were going to do, right? Then you can adjust those plans. You can either continue to plan as you are doing it. You can start over, scrap it, right? Your changes did not work, so you're going to start over. You can scale up. Now is the spot to go, you know what? That small change worked. I'd like to make that change bigger. Move on. Sometimes you're like, this isn't working. I need to change track. And then it's a continuous quality improvement process because you go back to step 1, right? You've adjusted those plans, and now you should be identifying opportunities for change, doing them, checking them, adjusting them, and you keep going around, right? That's the idea of the continuous quality improvement process. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Next slide. Thank you. So we didn't want to leave anyone hanging in the dark. We want you to be successful in the quality building blocks. So we created online a companion resource guide, and it provides trainings, tips, activities to accompany all 8 of the building blocks. If you want to show the next level. That's what it looks like when you're on our website. Again, you go under the tab quality and you'll see resources. You click resources and it'll bring you to this page. And then across the top there, you'll see each of the building blocks, and under those building blocks, you'll see all of the different resources broken down by type. And of course, you're always welcome to call me or email me, and I can always point you in the right direction for whatever resource you need under any of the building blocks. Okay, so how can you use the building blocks? And who can use the building blocks? We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, right? It was one of our directives to make sure that anyone can use the building blocks. If you work with kids, you can use the building blocks, right? So you guys are that first category. You're all programs. Obviously, the intent and purpose of the building blocks was primarily for programs, but we want to assure you that parents and families can use the building blocks. You can show them to parents and families. They are fairly easy to understand. If you have funders or state or local policymakers that you want to share your building blocks with, again, this is a great way to do it. If you work with school districts, your K-12 educators, teachers, principals, other administration staff, again, easily can understand and use the building blocks. All right, so what do I mean when I say you can use the building blocks, right? So the very first one is to assess the quality of your program through self-assessment and determine areas you want to work on for quality improvement. I mean, that's the basic use of a quality system, right? We want to make sure that you are quality and using the self-assessment appropriately, but you can also use it to identify specific areas of need for future professional development. This is a great one to use with your staff. We have people who will use this as a really awesome staff meeting. You can pick a new topic every month. You can have your staff fill out the self-assessment on their own, bring them to your staff meeting, and then you get to see where people have difference of opinion in your quality standards. Maybe someone doesn't know that you're working on something, or they don't have enough information, and you can identify those professional development areas that you need for your staff. It's a great tool for them. Help families and communities understand the expectations of out-of-school time professionals and organizations. There are a lot of families and a lot of parents who don't understand that you guys are professionals and that you guys run really amazing programs, right? They drop their kid off, they pick them up, everyone's healthy and safe, and that's as far as they got, right? For some of your families. So this is a great thing to send out in those parent newsletters. Pick that topic and say, look, we have met all 8 of the indicators under this standard. Or it's a great place to ask for parent help and to open that parent communication, because you can say, hey guys, we were working on our quality standards. I have a couple areas that I need your help with. These are the indicators. We're working with ION. I need your input, right? And that gives them a really direct way to understand something and to give that input back to you guys.
Diana, one quick question. There's a question of whether the self-assessment is all due for all 8 building blocks by the 1st of October.
Oh, see, that was on my slides. It's probably not going to be in this set. You have to do at least one for me by our meeting or by the 5th, so that we can talk about them when we go into our next meeting. If you want to do more than that, that is totally fine. You might get going and being like, yes, and do all of them. But you are not required to do all of them. You are required to do one. So I would pick the one that you're like, ooh, I think this is the one I want to work on. And then if you get going through them, or you hand them out to your staff and they all get done, that's great too. But the one due for October 1st is at least one. And then that last one is create a framework for schools, communities, and programs to determine what a quality program looks like and how it can have a positive result for children and youth, right? So this is where you can share these quality standards with your local community, your policymakers, your school admin. You know, it's a really great way to show off. And it's also a great way to ask for needs, right? Because you have something that's state approved, that's based in that national research. Excuse me. So yeah, use the tool as much as possible. All right, so quick poll. Now that you know a little bit more about the building blocks, what are some ways that you think you might use them in your program? We're going to force you to use them a little bit. I don't want to use force. We're going to encourage you to use these as much as possible with us. But, oh, all of the above. Thanks, Crystal. Oh, you'll submit them. You'll just email them to me, Shannon. Oh, I love seeing the D. That was the D. Sorry, guys. All of the above. I like seeing all of the above. That's fair. Improvement plan, professional development. I mean, that's what it was mainly created for. And I'm happy if that's all you get to. Great. If you find that you're using it a lot and you want to communicate to stakeholders, that's great too. Oh, we're seeing your calendar. Mostly B, working towards D. Again, totally fair, Jane, totally fair. You know what? And my professional development heart is super happy if that's what you get to. That's what I'm here for. All right, you can go to the next one. So follow-up poll, which of these, if any, seem like an obstacle to using the building blocks? Lack of time, lack of resources, lack of staff buy-in, lack of stakeholder buy-in, or something other. And if it's an other, please drop it in the chat so I know what it is. Lack of time. Okay, money. Okay. Time and resources. Okay. And that's fair. That's why, as directors, that's why we are stakeholders, participants. Some of them are. I think that's both. Time. We hear time a lot. That's why we wanted to make the initial self-assessments as easy as possible. Hopefully, once you get the hang of it, you're going to read the indicator and be able to just be like A, B, A, D, right? You're going to be able to go, I'm not doing it. I am doing it. I'm not doing it. Right. I'm trying it. And it's really meant to be kind of that first impression, run through that self-assessment quickly and just start checking things off and jotting notes. That is what it is for. Hopefully, once you get the hang of it, the time issue will be less. And I know that's still hard and it's still an ask. That's why I also say staff meetings, handing them out to your staff or to your families and say, hey, fill this out for me real quick, bring it back, right? So it's not falling on just you to do. All right, go to the next one. 2 for 1. Let's start with the first one. Oh, wait. No, which of these groups will be the most difficult to get buy-in for the building blocks? Your board or your admin, your parents and families, your funders and policymakers, other K-12 educators, or if there's someone else that you're thinking of, drop them in. It might be staff or, but let's just start with hardest to get buy-in. District admin. Okay. Yeah, I know. They really don't. And I know this year and last year have been particularly difficult. More K-12. Boards, okay. Admin, your admin. Yeah, district. So for those of you working directly with K-12 educators, that's a worry, is the no time. They already have so much on their plate, and I understand that. Your staff might be, okay. No, it's interesting, Nicole, that your families, you don't get to see them often. Think about a newsletter or something else maybe. Okay, so let's switch. Let's think positive. Who do you think will be the easiest to get buy-in? Who do you think that you can be like, yes, they will be on board immediately? Easiest families, great. Yes, they want the quality, right? They may not know it, but they do want quality. Funders, oh, that's a good one. Great, I'm glad to see that. So we have on one side, people are like staff because they may not have time, but they might have the easiest buy-in as well. So I'm glad that we can see both sides of that same coin. Great. A and B. Okay. Boards and parents and families. Good. Certified staff. Oh, that's an interesting twist. Yeah. All right. So while I have you, does anyone have any questions or concerns about if we had been in person like we were supposed to be, we would have run through one together. But obviously, I can't do that with you right now. So do you have any questions about the building blocks, how to use the book? So Anna is showing you right now where to find the book. See, you can find it online. You can scroll through it if you want. We'll look at it. So pretty.
I do have a question, Diana. So I guess I'm sorry if I'm slow here, but I'm just trying to understand what you need us to do by October 1st. So you need us to fill out the self-assessment online or on paper and send it to you. That's what you're needing by October 1st.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's too easy, so it was confusing. So, okay, thank you.
Super easy. It really is that easy. I just want you to pick one of the building blocks, the 8, do one of the self-assessments and then send it back to me. Oh, there's a good, if you just want to take the self-assessment, so you can't turn this, I will tell you, this is for you guys, or if you want an easier way to send this to your staff or families, we do have it online. That is just the doing it, trying it, not yet for all 8 building blocks. For you guys, I want to see the evidence, so you will have to do the actual individual self-assessments, but this is a great tool if you want to work with a family, your parent groups, a board meeting, staff meeting. This is a good one that just has the doing it, trying it, not yet. You can literally just email it to me, Tony. So you can either fill it in online. There are each of the if you go back to the resource guide, whoever's driving, thank you. Right there at the top is the building block. It's hard when you're not driving, guys. You should be able to find each of the building blocks on here, or you can take it out of your book, take a photo or scan and email it to me. That'll work too. Oh, that's weird that that one's different. All right. Yeah, click that for me. Click summary for me. Summary. No, right there. Oh, one more. There you go. Yeah, it's 2 pages. So this is just the summary itself. So if you don't want to fill it out of your book, or you want to use an online version, you can do just this. You can find one of these for each of the blocks. And I just need this page that's showing right now. I need that page. So again, you can either scan it out of your guide if you're going to do it in your physical book. I'm showing you the book like you guys can see me. So you can, probably one of the easier ways is to do the page, take a nice photo with your camera on your phone, and then email it to me. That's probably one of the easier ways to do it. But you can also download it here from the resource page on the website and fill it in online if you want to do that. Either way, I'm really pretty decent at reading handwriting. I've had to do it a lot. So if you don't want to type it and you handwrite it, and even if it's chicken scratch, I'll make it work. It's fine.
Dana, do you want to walk through the resources online? Because they're pretty extensive per
They
block.
are. They're so great. So she's in intentional program design, which is building block 1. But again, there's one of these tabs for every single one of the building blocks. And you will find the templates for the continuous quality improvement plan, professional development plan, and self-assessment summary. They're all the same on every building block. I just want you to know if you open a different block, they'll look the same. But if you're looking for a quick and easy improvement plan, or you need an individual professional development plan for your staff, those are in here as well. We try to not leave you hanging on any part of the process. There's always a form or a training that you can do to help. And then that self-assessment summary is that same page with all of the building blocks located on it. And if you want to go back to the resource page. So when you're in the resource guide, I think intentional program design is one of the larger ones, but there's always guides and handbooks. So if you're like, I need more information on what intentional program design is, or starting a program, or whatever it is, you'll find a lot of different handouts, different handbooks, guides. And then if you go to then training, oh, I don't think you need to click over them. Yeah, I try to list, and they're almost always free trainings that you can take on that subject. So if you're like, I need more information, I'd like to take a training, here's where you can do that. Sometimes there's activities that you can do that will just help with doing the intended building blocks. So right here is like, there's some project planning or other guides. Y for Y, in case you're wondering, is U for youth. And they have wonderful, absolutely wonderful different tools, and they're all free. And then sometimes if there's specific websites that I think would help, those are listed, and then you can just kind of go through them at your leisure. Not every resource, not every building block will have the exact same list of resources. Some have more, some have apps that are available, some have, may not have websites available, but they all have at least the resource guides, handbooks, and trainings on each of them. Any questions on resources? Any questions on building blocks?
We did send the one hard copy, and we have as many as you'd like. If you want hard copies for staff meetings, we can mail those out to you.
And I spent a lot of time on, oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, as far as what extent, because we'll be doing this like 4 days a week for the entire year. What extent do you want documentation? As far as, do you want our staff to go through this on a lesson by lesson type deal, or I'm just trying to get a picture of how much documentation you're going to want?
Really, for the purposes, I mean, you've got separate things. For the purposes of me and this quality system, I will need whatever documentation you want to provide as part of your plan. The documentation you will need for the actual grant itself will be slightly separate, because that will have to do with what the university needs as we go through implementation. So those are kind of two different things. But if you're talking specifically about the quality, that's the beauty of doing this system, is it's going to be the documentation you need to do your plan. And we will discuss that as we go through, because it's going to depend on which building block you choose to focus on, and what building block, what you need, depending on the indicators that you have discovered. Jane, it will depend on if that's the, so Jane asks, excuse me, is our lesson planning book adequate documentation? If you're doing intentional program design and you discover that there's something in there that you need to work on, then we would look through your lesson planning book. But if you're working on family communication, right, then you would need something other than your lesson planning book. You know, if you're doing youth safety and wellness, it might be you need better documentation of your disaster outline, so it's going to be dependent on which of the building blocks you decide needs the most help. Like if you're in staff support and volunteer development, it's going to be your staff guide, right? Like whatever, what am I trying to say? Sorry. I think once you read through them, you'll start to understand what kind of proof, it's not really proof, what kind of documentation you will need. Well, some of it's not going to be documented in a way that you can be like, here's my handbook. It's going to be like, did I have enough family meetings? Did we provide training for volunteers, right? It's going to be a little bit different. So then you're going to create documentation and proof in a different way. So it's going to really be dependent on what we decide you're going to work with individually.
I would say this is really it is really a self-assessment, and it's for you. So as far as like proof to us, I would say it's more of a conversation. Like you could explain which tools were helpful, and sort of what some of it will be kind of qualitative and attitudinal. Like if you see a difference in staff morale or something, that's hard to measure or have proof in writing, but it will be more of a conversation. And we're really here to support more so than, require a lot of documentation per se. I think when we talk about evidence, it's like in a conversation that it's evidential that this is improving something or helping or strengthening something that you really wanted to strengthen in your program, and that there was that support. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Diana. That's how I
mean, you're gonna have your self-assessments. You're gonna fill out a quality improvement plan. We're gonna kind of talk a little bit more about that in our October 5th meeting. And in that plan, you're gonna write, you had it open up at the top. The continuous quality improvement plan. And I have more documents. This is the basic version of this. We have more of them. But you're going to have action steps in there, right? And so you're going to say, right, we're going to come follow up with you on this. When did you do it? How did you do it? And then there is a spot where you're going to be like, what happened to this goal? And this is kind of where your evidence is going to happen, because we're going to help you with these action steps and give you some good ways to like collect data on your action steps. And again, this is all individualized for you guys, because no one goal and no one way will work for all of the different types of programs that you guys are, right? We can't say Girls on the Run has to have the same goal as a school district, like, right? Those wouldn't match up. So know that this is individualized to you. So when you're asking about proof, it's going to be what we were doing so well. It's me. I'm back. I just lost. Sorry, guys. Does that help? Does that explanation help for you guys? And I will say there's going to be another step of information at the next meeting for not only quality, but for something we call behavior management. Some of you guys have gone through behavior management, some of you haven't. And so we'll do a quick behavior management and there will be another plan. So you'll end up with 2 plans to work on. But we'll cover that at the next meeting in October. This meeting just have to work on at least one self-assessment and get back to me. If you find that you're in a groove and you've done more, send me more, that's fine.
Brian, did you have a question? I think you were muted.
I was just thinking about this as far as I have teachers mostly running our after school program and some paras, and I'm just trying to figure out workload as far as, because they're doing lesson plans all day and then coming in and kind of doubling some of their stuff here. Just trying to figure out what their workload's going to be like.
Yeah, hopefully it's not bad. Will you that building block summary as far as the homework for this next month, the top one, building block summary? Yeah, no, down, right, up. No.
Not this one? Not this one?
No, the other one. No, the other one.
This one?
I just want to show, yes.
We're
I need to
team.
title those differently. That's on me. So, Brian, and for everyone else too, please know that when I say do this for the homework, it's meant to be quick. Like, hopefully they can read the indicator and just check. I mean, I'm hoping that you can do one of these in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like maybe as quick as 5.
I think to add just quickly while Diana's off,
Oh, sorry.
programs that we have had some really great success working through the building blocks. So City of Boise Parks and Rec did this with us a few years ago. And they said some of those, you know, when you answer a question kind of quickly and you get just your initial response, like that's helpful. That's information. It's something to kind of go on and build on. They found that giving staff this and doing it like, hey, we're going to do this, you know, at the staff meeting, and we're going to just kind of take 10 minutes and fill this out, that it was very informative to the director of the program to be like, oh, they don't really know the lessons plans before, or they don't have an idea of our schedule for the week, or, you know, like it was informative in just a quick and easy way, not to dwell on it or have it, you know, be the final say of the value or the quality of the program, but informative for what could automatically become something to work on or strive towards. I think Diana's.
I mean, we worked really hard. We heard that loud and clear when we went around the state, is that it had to be quick, it had to be easy, and it had to be something that everyone can do. So hopefully that intention comes through and it works out. Let's see. Jane, so Jane's asking what data the university is going to need. And Jane will have to provide that when we get it from the university. We know some of the components, but not all of them. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, it'll be mostly like focus groups and surveys that they're going to provide you. Yes, Shannon, we will send a follow-up email because we'll send you the slides and we'll send you the links and my email and all that good stuff. Absolutely. And we might send you the link to this training. I did the quality training back in January of 2020 with no interruptions in it. So we might send you that version as well. I feel scattered too, Shannon. So sorry that this came on and off and on and off and on and off. I don't know what's going on.
I may have missed
Anything
it
else
too.
for
Which
me?
university?
Do you guys want to answer? Oh, which university? We have RFPs out, and that's what we're waiting for. So we'll decide. We'll let you guys know which university when they're picked. Is that fair, Anna? Or do you want to tell them more?
Yes, no, just to maybe even kind of give you a little background, these dollars came quickly. And we were kind of working with the Department of Health and Welfare to determine if we were going to do an overall evaluation of all programs receiving part of the 36 million that went out, or if each of the recipients of the dollars were going to create their own evaluation systems. And so ours is unique. We're really addressing the out of school time field versus just childcare, which a lot of the dollars went more directly to childcare centers. So she determined just, less than a month ago that we would do our own. So per our agency's process, we have to bid the request for proposals, and they'll be due next week, and then we'll select the university. Everything's went kind of fast, which is good and hard sometimes.
I think we can just open it for if you have questions about any part of the process, anything that you guys need from myself or Danny or Anna. You're also welcome to contact us at any time with questions. I think most of you probably have my email, but just in case you don't, I'll drop it in chat. It's just dmcallister@janus.org. And even if you forget and you can't find my email and you want to send the self-assessment, you can send it to Danny or Anna. They'll get it to me.
Are there any further questions? I know I heard from someone at the beginning that wanted a bit of an overview about budget requirements and reporting around budget. We'll be sending out a template for the report. The way that this grant was worded, the Code of Federal Regulations with regard to how we manage federal funds is kind of what we expect, but we're not requiring that full reporting back to us. We stated in the RFP that in receiving these funds, you agree to abiding by the Code of Federal Regulations with regard to how you process and use and track your dollars, but that won't be the extent of the reporting that we need. It will be more of a template. We're going to have just a basic categories, kind of like the categories that we had on the original template, and then just reporting out on what's been used in each of those categories.
Danny or Anna, I had reached out to you guys about some possible staffing changes since we submitted our budget with our application. So do I just need to maybe update a staffing plan? We're having some staffing issues here at North as well. So we're going to be utilizing more school day teachers to make it work. So should I just do like a little blurb with the updated staffing plan and then try to make adjustments to the original budget?
That would be wonderful. If you're changing a category more than 10%, I'd love an updated budget. That helps us kind of track it and then just know what to expect on your final report. And that can just be easily done with the template that you received before, or maybe Danny, you could put the template in the chat if you have it, and just fill that out and return to Danny. We totally understand that there will be shifts. I know I run our program on 8 different grants, and I understand completely.
Okay, thank you.
We have a minute. Could we have everyone introduce themselves and say what organization they're with? I'm just so impressed with the variety that we have, and you're reading the grant. The grants just warmed my heart, just knowing how far-reaching this money is going and what people are doing with it. If you wouldn't mind just saying your name, your organization, and like a minute about your program. We start with you, Brian. You're to my right. And just popcorn. Maybe you can say the next person.
Brian Hudeke, Basin School District. We're using a kind of like a 4-day program where we have every day is kind of something different, everything from STEM, leadership, teamwork, art and music, that kind of thing. And Jamie Porkerton is the elementary principal up there. So we're doing the same thing, but I could just have you, or actually already introduce you. Sorry, Jamie.
Thank you. I don't need to introduce then.
So you could pick somebody.
Jane Emery is next on my screen.
I'm with the 21st Century Program at Upriver Elementary in little tiny Fernwood, Idaho. And I serve 3 little towns with high poverty, and our program runs 4 days a week for 3 hours after school. We have a snack and dinner, partly because of the high degree of poverty in our area. And we operate on 3 basic areas. We have a general area of art and science and physical education, but within those we include social emotional learning, we include leadership, we include our leadership. We have the kids do a Kids as Teachers Day occasionally, and they teach the staff and other kids something that they have approved. We have approved it, but they teach something that they have a talent in. And every year we just try to hone it down to make it more what our students and our parents and the school need.
Thanks, Jane. Who would you like to go next? Oops.
I muted, I forgot. Deanna Fitzgerald? Sorry.
No worries. I'm Deanne Fitzgerald. I'm the director of the PASS program up in the Kellogg School District in Shoshone County. We serve 1st through 5th, and we're going to go with the 4-day program. We have something really cool going on. I mean, we do a lot of STEM, cooking, art, music. We're going to do something with a couple of our school day teachers, do a Mindful Mondays. She works with meditation practices, so that'll be great for our littles. We're excited about that. That's it. I will pick Don G.
I'm Dawn Green, and I work at Jefferson School District 251, and am the program director for Harwood After School Program. We run a 4-day week program, and we also serve dinner to our kids and have a variety of activities. So we're excited to get going. I will pick Tony.
Hi, I'm with Girls on the Run, Treasure Valley, and we serve 6 Southwest Idaho counties. We're in our 2nd week of our program currently and hoping we can continue to operate in person. We have a 10-week program with a really robust social and emotional learning curriculum. And we incorporate physical activity to really give girls a tool set that they can use for a lifetime of healthy living and self-respect. So we meet twice a week after schools, and we have almost 500 girls that we're serving this fall. I will pick Maddie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I'm the program manager at Girl Scouts of Silver Sage. And in this meeting, I'm joined with Ali Escalante and Jess Burke as well. They're part of my team. And the program that we are doing is called our Community Troop Program. It's been operating for about 17 years, known as the Visions Program. But as everyone knows, with the pandemic, we had to reimagine everything. Our program goes into schools and provides a Girl Scout troop experience for girls who would not otherwise be able to participate in Girl Scouts. So we go into schools bi-weekly. The girls get to sell cookies, but of course has a really robust social emotional aspect. They learn STEM, outdoor, entrepreneurship, and life skills things as well. So really excited to kind of see how we can continue to expand this program and kind of keep it up to date and develop programming that is, really beneficial for our girls in the schools as well. I don't know who else is willing to speak. So if someone wants to jump in, it's all yours.
I'll just read Sarah, if you guys, Sarah Buck is from the Salvation Army in Nampa, but she doesn't have a mic right now. So she just wanted to say they're running an after-school program 5 days a week, picking up different schools and also have students dropped off by school buses. She's just started in June, so she's focusing on getting their out-of-school program restarted. They also have a great social emotional development focus, and they're doing their troop program through the Salvation Army once a week as well. So welcome, Sarah.
I'm Amy Hines. I'm with the Treasure Valley YMCA. I am new to my position, so I can't really answer the questions on exactly what programs we're serving right now. But I was here in the meeting with Andrew Fletcher, Nicole Pratt, and Carrie Magnuson, but they all appear to have gone out to, I'm sure, another meeting that they have. But yeah, we're with the Treasure Valley Y.
I don't, if Crystal, have you had a chance to introduce yourself?
I have not. Sorry, I'm in the car, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm from Malad, Idaho, and I serve the Malad Elementary and Middle School, grades 1 through 8. We offer Monday through Thursday programming in the morning and in the afternoon. And our focus this year is to really involve school day teachers and help cover that learning loss that happened during COVID. I've been a director for about 2.5 years, and one of those years was during 2020, so we didn't get to do a full year. So I'm excited for this new year and the resources and help that you guys are providing to help us improve our program. And I haven't heard from Shannon. Is she still on here? If she is, I'll throw to her.
I'm still here. Hi, Crystal. I run a 21st century program in Emmett, and we are, with this grant, we are supporting the expansion of our middle school program. So we run weightlifting in the morning for those early risers, and then we are running, expanding our program after school for homework help for middle schoolers. They really need a lot of it this year, and some cooking classes, a lot of social emotional. We are doing, we have asked staff to step in and tell us what they are best at and share that with students. And it's really creating some really nice connection between staff and students after school and some caring relationships. So we are doing self-defense, and we are doing a lot of food-based, a lot of cooking, because that will get the middle schoolers there, and just trying to expand connections as much as we can and some belonging.
Wonderful, thank you. Has everyone had a chance to share?
I can go, I haven't shared yet. My name is Ashley, and I am the director for Payette Lakes Community Association, and we run an after-school program up here in McCall, Idaho at Barbara Morgan Elementary School. We work with K-5 students and provide have the library come in, kind of provide this no walls area where we spend a majority of our times outdoors. We provide homework help, and then giving scholarships to a lot of those families because we want to make sure that everyone in the community is able to come.
Wonderful, thank you. I think everyone has had a chance. All right, the map was showing where applications came in from across the state. We were just really impressed with the variety of applications, like I said, that came in, and we're looking forward to the next round. And I don't know, Diana or Danny, did you have anything else to share on the agenda today?
No, just don't hesitate in reaching out if you have any questions. That's what we're here for. And I'm excited to semi-meet all of you. I know that we've been in email communication for a while, and it's nice to see faces, hear voices, and learn more. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. If there aren't additional questions, we can give everyone 15 minutes back to their day before joining your next meeting. Thanks for being here.